Oh, hey guys. So we've had a little bit of an interesting development. Aside from breaking the auger a couple more times, I think we got it pretty well buttoned up so that it seems to be holding together okay now. We've completely eliminated anything that had pipe threads on it. We're still using this system, which has a slip collar and the 2 pins. We took that off, that's a hole saw mandrel that we adapted. And then, as we showed in the last video, we found a nut that made that thread and drilled our holes and sort of made a socket for it. This is a new addition. This is a handle. It was made by bending a piece of pipe, maybe to say 15 degrees-ish, maybe 20, cutting a section out of it and welding it this way. What the bend does is it helps actually grab the shank, if you will, or the shaft. And this is basically just a lifting handle, so we're not putting all the pressure on the chuck and this mechanism right here. Yeah, so that seems to work out pretty good. The big challenge I'm running into right now is I've hit a section that is a glacial till. And glacial till is very common in this part of the province, but not common here. For the most part, we have peat, and then the peat will sit on some clay. But then we got rocks like this, and I tell you, this is beating me up something fierce. The auger is really quite strong. It's broken a couple larger rocks, and the auger itself seems to be going fine still. Let's just see how its cutting edge is. I'm really happy now that I got one with a replaceable cutting edge, because I'm not sure just how far we're going to make it before we're going to have to do some work on this, but it's nice being able to. The cheaper augers, they're just a piece of the auger itself is sort of bent into a makeshift cutting edge. Well, I'm really impressed. Our carbide is still there, no problem. Not really bent or anything, just a little paint chipped off. So that's pretty good. So last hole we hit a little bit of the glacial till. I didn't really clue into what it was at the time. I didn't really worry about it. But now we're hitting it harder, and some very sizable rocks. Part of the concern for me is that this thing does not have a clutch on it of any sort. It literally can break your wrist. So I'm trying to position myself such that when it grabs, it doesn't bind the wrist too badly, but I don't know. We will see. Hopefully it gets easier after a couple more holes. This guy here I've been working on now for 10 minutes, and I still got another foot to go. The positive is that this stuff is going to lock these fence posts in rock solid, so that's pretty cool. And there's 0 water coming into the hole. It is completely dry, which is a big help. As for roots, so far roots have not really been much of an issue. You know, anything the size of a thumb or finger, this thing seems to be able to cut through them okay. Bigger than that, it stops it. But even that one bigger one we hit, it kind of chewed through. So definitely kudos to the auger. We have hot, dry weather coming up, which is really good news for this. Kind of means we're missing a little bit of a planting window, but we're just not there yet. I'm just not ready for that, and I do not want to rush it. I do, however, have a bunch of stuff started in the greenhouse, so another week from now we'll have a bunch of transplants that are already ready to go. I think we'll be okay. And whatever's not okay is just more of a learning experience, so you got to learn these ways somehow. Right, Finn? Hey? Yeah? Are we learning? I gotta tell you though, I certainly have taken for granted in the past larger equipment, big post pounders, 4-wheel drive tractors. This exercise here of doing this all by hand has been very interesting for perspective. So everybody should do it once, maybe not twice, but once. All right, guys, talk to you later. Okay, well, here we are. We're now the 4th post down from the corner post, and we're back into a much nicer medium. There's no glacial till here. We have our blue clay We have an abundance of the green clay. We also have that fibrous material in there as well. Water infiltration here is really quite slow. You can see there's a little bit on the bottom, but it's just barely trickling in. Yeah, looking good. Okay, well now we're just the 5th hole down from the corner post. We got quite a bit less clay. We're getting very fast water infiltration, and it appears to be coming from around the 3-foot mark. You can see there at about 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, there's 2 streams coming down. So here we are now, 2nd post from the other corner post, and there is no clay. We are pulling up a couple feet of this fibrous peat mat. Much easier going. This is a gift. Finn doesn't look too worried though. The water's just pouring in there. That water's got to be every bit of 5 gallons a minute plus, just coming from that little spot, a meter or so down. Be interesting to know what it's like in the middle of the summer. Okay, now we're another post down. We're on the outside corner post by the rhubarb, and we are in just pure clay with soil on top. Probably 18 inches of soil and then into pure clay. There's 0 water infiltration showing. Very interesting. Can you watch out, please? Thanks, Finn. Good boy. There's water coming in down here, somewhere in the range of 10 to 20 gallons per minute. It's coming from about just 24 inches down. So below that, there's 3 more feet of heavy mud that I'm trying to get to the surface and scoop out. But that water is just coming on top and it's pushing it down. It's acting like a cap, and it's too thick to be able to push the post in. As you can see, I only got the post in about 3 feet, so a couple more feet to go. You can see just how buoyant it is because of how much solids is still in this hole. Normally I found with these guys that there's enough weight above them that when it's just water coming in, you push them down, they'll stay down. Not this guy. Okay. We can deal with water, but all this mud is just going to displace whatever we try to put in here. So even though these pins are driving it, I guess there's still just too much force on those threads because it's just all beat all up. It's dead. Gonna come up with something else. We got 9 posts left. A little disappointing. Okay, well, we just fixed that up, hopefully for the last time. I ended up going with what was sort of my gut instinct right from the beginning. And that was to weld in a piece of 1/2-inch stainless rod. And I think that's going to be very strong and hopefully give us all we need. Only thing is it doesn't have sort of the hex shank for the added gription with the drill, but it's got a good old school Jacobs chuck on it, clamps tight, so hopefully it will be fine. We'll find out. Better. So what you're looking at there is a fissure or a channel in the soil. It's about 8 inches high, about 2 inches wide. And so with stuff like this, it's no wonder that the water can come in so quickly. Also, with conventional tractors, it can be very hard to run them on here. I had a 65 horsepower tractor, and it was just too heavy. It would bust through into voids like that, and on your second pass, if you're not your second, your third pass, it was done. You'd wreck the ground. My father brought his about 35, I guess, horsepower tractor in, and it fared a little better, but after 5 or 6 passes, it was starting to sink, and it was starting to drag its belly in spots. So when we do get another tractor here, it's going to have to be something with some turf tires on it. And although we're going to lose some traction because of that, we're going to definitely win with flotation. And that's part of the reason why I'm looking specifically at small tractors. I want something small and easy to move around and hard to get stuck. Interesting stuff though, working on a peat area.